episode of Doctor Who. This is supposed to be the season finale of season 10, but last time was the first part of a two-parter
of chaos.
Of the genesis of the Cybermen, which is most likely a play on the idea of Genesis of the Daleks, which was an old, like, retro Who, like, episode.
Gotcha.
Supposed to be one of the more famous ones. Like, I think we have DVDs of Genesis of the Daleks. I think it's a Tom Baker episode.
Oh,
actually, it might be a movie or a two-parter, I forget. But
that's pretty cool.
I forgot to look at this whenever I started, or when we ended last week, because I have a whole list of Cybermen information. So, like, Mondas, the Mondasian Cybermen, like, that was originally where they were made the first time. It was a twin planet of Earth.
Which that's is why she's like, it looks so familiar. It looks just like Earth. It must be a twin planet of Earth.
Yeah. The notes I had on that were about, like, their planet was dying. The people there decided that in order to stay alive, they wanted to upgrade themselves with cybernetics, eventually pushing further and further till they got rid of emotions and things like that, and then became the Cybermen, which looked like those ones there. So that is a more modern creation of the original Cybermen, which is kind of cool. Sadly, it's Bill. And I also have here that the Cybermen were the cause of the first Doctor's death.
Oh, really?
During the second Doctor's time, UNIT formed to take on the Cybermen invasion. That's how we got UNIT.
Oh.
It was all because of them. So.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So, and then the seventh Doctor is when, like, all the Cybermen got defeated, right? Because then in David Tennant's era, they had, like, a parallel universe thing, and that's how we got Cybermen.
Yeah, with Mickey and Ricky.
Yeah, and that's how they kind of got reintroduced into our universe, and all that stuff kept coming back and forth. So, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with this one. We also had Cybermen leak in during the next Doctor's episode with the Governor, which I talked about that, I think, last week as well.
Yeah.
So, like, we've had them show up a few times with some different things, but I don't know what this is. We have the Master on a ship. I don't know how he got there, where he's been, you know, any of this kind of stuff. So, we're both interested to see, I'm sure, the regeneration thing, how that's going to play out with this. Because he started regenerating at the beginning of last episode.
Yeah, and they never touched it again.
No. That was, like, just the beginning, like,
yeah, and it's like, what's going on?
So, anything else we're forgetting? Missy, if she's bad now?
Yeah, she's standing there. The last place we saw him was standing beside the Master.
Yeah, the Master. Like, the Master.
Frickin' Master.
We haven't seen him in forever because we had Missy. So, I don't know. We're going to have to see what happens. I'm excited to see the final episode of the season. You ready?
No.
She's not ready, but we got to start.
Whose spaceship?
The Doctor was trying to escape. Yeah, it must be the Doctor.
Oh. Must be Nardole flying in.
It's got to be the Doctor, right? Uh-oh, it's not the Doctor. Wait.
Is that Bill?
Bill, what? Man, I don't know what's going on.
10 years you spent up there chatting. You missed about 2 hours.
Ripped out our heart. Look, they're coming.
They can't control anyone.
This doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't it? You shouldn't have hit me, Missy. I was waiting for my chance. Computer containing the algorithm defining human life science. I only had time to change one detail, a single number. 1 to a 2. 1 heart to 2 hearts.
Ah. Looking for
I
you three.
expanded the definition.
Oh, look at Sonic.
You know the stories. There's only ever been one way to stop that many Cybermen.
Me.
I love his confidence. I love it.
You gotta let him go.
Stop them. They're not difficult. They're Cybermen.
Knock yourself out.
Oh, she did. Oh, I love that.
I'm secretly on your side all along, you silly sausage.
You hit me really hard.
Are you telling me? I think I've still got the bump.
Right, what's things first?
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Bill. Ooh, that was cool. That flashlight killed him. Well, it's a flashlight. Look at that thing. It's a flashlight. The old costume just literally was a flashlight.
Oh,
I don't know what it is now.
I don't think we're going anywhere. Bill's back.
I can't believe this. Bro.
Okay, you're back again. I swear.
Wow. 2 weeks later? Damn, what have the Cybermen been doing? Because how long is that for them?
Oh, crap. Yeah. You're right.
I mean,
A lot of time.
10 minutes was 10 years. What?
Sorry, you have to stay out here. You
Bill, yeah.
frighten the children.
Give me a look, I thought I was wrong.
Where am I?
You needed rest.
What am I doing in a bar? What's wrong?
Does she look like
Sorry.
a Cyberman still?
It's just... The doctor has explained that you're not dangerous, but
Yeah,
She still looks like a Cyberman.
What's difficult?
This is like Souffle Girl all
Where is the
over
doctor? I
again.
need to...
his
Yeah,
injuries
you're
are
right.
being
The
tended.
Dalek.
Injuries?
You're being kind. Nothing wrong with kind. Jelly baby?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Please.
You left me alone for 10 years. Don't tell me I can't be angry.
Shoot.
Nothing to see here. Somebody broke the bar. No biggie. Come on. Defenses
Thank
don't
you,
build themselves.
Nardole.
It's okay. You're just frightened.
I remember you said you could fix this.
You could get me back. Did you say that?
I did say that, yes.
Were you lying?
No.
Were you right?
No.
He doesn't know how to fix it.
We're not going to get out of this one, are we?
Well, the lift was downstairs and quite possibly not empty.
Is the future going to be all girl?
We can only hope. The Master Sonic screwdriver is pretty cool. Oh, yeah.
I like them.
Oh, shit. Oh, man, all this time they've really
Sonic the
upgraded.
lift, give it here. Because I hate someone or because I want to blame someone? It's not because it's fun. God knows it's not because it's easy. It's not even because it works, because it hardly ever does. I do what I do because it's right. Because it's decent. And above all, it's kind. It's just that. Just kind. If I run away today, good people will die. If I stand and fight, some of them might live. Maybe not many, maybe not for long. Stand with me. These people are terrified. Maybe we can help a little. Why not? Just to the end. Just be kind.
I wonder if she kills herself.
What?
Not Missy's self, but like her old self.
Do you get it now? This whole floor under the soil, it's fuel lines. I'm going to name a town after you. A really rubbish one.
Oh, I'm glad to know that.
And probably a pig.
Probably
Young
pig.
lady, you're coming with me. No arguments. May I remind you, I'm still empowered to kick your ass. You're wrong, you know. Quite wrong. I never will be able to find the words. And I need you to follow me.
the charge. The
Man.
retreat.
So they're gonna go down. She's second guessing it, isn't she?
I'm telling you, she's gonna kill her old self.
Right, come on then, hop in, straight down, TARDIS.
Come here.
Thank you.
What was it? Knife?
It's good to know I haven't lost my touch.
It's time to stand with the Doctor.
Wow.
No. I will never stand with the Doctor!
Yes,
Does he have
my
a
dear,
gun?
you will.
No!
Son of a bitch.
Don't bother trying to regenerate. You got the full blast.
What?
They just kill each other? I think he's naming off all the times he's defeated them.
Planet 14.
Planet 14.
Every single time.
Bill?
No.
I'm not a doctor. I am the Doctor. The original, you might say.
Yes.
Time enough.
Wait, Heather? Heather had the amber in her eyes, right?
Yeah.
The water chick?
that
What
one.
the hell? Wait, what?
What?
I've been through a lot since the last time we met. So I'll show you around.
Oh.
Wow. Wow.
So talents refer to the course of human history. Let them not go.
Oh.
But the Doctor was me. When the Doctor was me.
I will not change. I will not. No, 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 no. The whole thing's ridiculous.
Hello? Someone there!
The Doctor! No, I don't think so. No, hear me, no. You may be a Doctor, but I am the Doctor. The original, you might say.
Oh, God. The head is really getting me whenever he's like, I don't want to go.
Do you know what that was?
The first Doctor?
Oh, well, yeah, that's the first Doctor at the end. It's one of the only things I knew about the season because I saw it on a Walmart
Oh,
DVD
really?
cover thing. I'm like, that's the first Doctor. That's cool as hell. It's one of the only things
He
I
looks
knew.
good.
But I don't want to say anything about it. I mean, I don't know for sure about.
Last time I saw him, he was running away from mummies.
Well, I mean, the
And
original.
crappy toilet papered mummies.
The original first Doctor was Hartnell,
Yeah.
right? William Hartnell, and he had passed back during. Oh dang! This a fifth or sixth Doctor's time frame, I think, somewhere in that, somewhere in there, I think. So whenever they had the 5 Doctors, they had to recast them. So I don't know if that is the same one that they had way back then. I don't think it is, because he looks different.
Yeah.
And that was an older guy back then.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's
he
not.
He was really old back then.
But I think he looks
pretty good. Like him, but yeah.
Yeah.
Very similar too.
I don't know about the Centauran thing. Centauran, hang on, let me look at something. I do not know. Doc, I wrote Doc. Doc helps Centauran, clone warriors kill Centauran. Seek to clone Doctor, Doc escaped Centaurans. I guess not. Okay. I don't know what the Centauran thing is. I don't want to go. And then he said, when the doctor was me. Those are both the last lines of David Tennant and Matt Smith. So I'm assuming the other one may have been also the last line of a doctor somewhere. Maybe Tom Baker.
Maybe.
Like maybe I know he was one of the more popular ones from back then. Maybe, but no. Matt Smith's last name was like I'll always remember when the doctor was me, and then he dropped his bow tie and all that kind of stuff was going on. And then I don't want to go was David Tennant's last name. And then even when they had Day of the Doctor, they made sure that his last words were, I don't want to go. So, that was mine. And then whenever they started doing that, I was like, man, I lost doctors before. So,
yeah, I really like Peter Capaldi.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I think my favorite quote this episode that was said at least twice, 3 times, I don't know. Where there's tears, there's hope. And it came into play, you know, for the Bill as a Cyberman with the tear, like you said before, and then with the Heather coming back with the tear, and then the tear that fell on the doctor.
Now, if I recall, I'd seen maybe in Discord or something, or maybe in some of the like random trivia stuff I look at sometimes, but like Bill being Bill, short for William typically, and Heather, like the first doctor's name was William Hartnell, so you could have Bill short for that, and then I believe his wife was Heather. So I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but it just happens to have this same names. If I remember what I read correctly, I just thought it was neat.
Oh, that's cool.
What do you think of the ideas of the monks? Like it's like you were under the control of the monks and you learned to hold on to yourself. That's why you didn't give into the programming.
I mean, it kind of makes sense that she had already exercised that discipline of her mind, that she was able to exercise it again. So I think that kind of makes this whole thing make a little bit of sense.
I think it works really well, and with the whole tear thing, like, I think back during that was the first episode, second episode.
For
this with Heather.
Oh, the Heather thing, that was the first episode, right? The pilot.
First one?
Yeah, the pilot.
Yeah.
The pilot episode of 10.
I think even back then I was like, man, that's just a one-off kind of thing. That's kind of fun, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And then apparently came back for this, but the tears, like it was summoning her so that she could find her again and stuff. And it makes sense too, because even then they traveled through time, and she was there finding her every time, you know, like.
Yeah.
So it's not weird that she was able to travel through time, and they had some kind of connection. So.
Yeah, that's cool. And
like she didn't die; she just left.
Like how they had the flashback there with Bill. These aren't my tears.
Yeah.
It just kind of made everything into a full loop. I like full loops. How did you feel about the Master killing themselves?
I don't know. I like, you know, that Missy, you know, came back, and I've been enjoying her this season. And apparently, like, the Master and Missy was the whole theme of the season. You know, like, you had the vault, you had Missy, you had all that stuff. And I was like, I said before, like, the theme, and here's what, you know, my thoughts of what could happen, da-da-da. And it was way off. But, like, I didn't think the Master was going to come back. So the theme of this season was the Master. And the twist at the end of what it all meant was that it was the Master. You know? Like, it's just, I don't know. But the Doctor would never kill the Master.
No.
Every iteration that I've seen, I don't know about the old versions, but In the movie, maybe a tiny bit because he threw him in the vortex. But anyway, it was, you know, David Tennant didn't want him to die, and, you know, Peter Capaldi didn't want to kill him, and so like that's how it's been. So for the Master to be his own end, you know, the Master kills, you know, Missy kills the Master because she doesn't want. It's time for him to end and for him to, you know, start standing with the Doctor. That's what she's gonna do, and the Master himself hates that so much that he kills his future so that can't happen. I don't know. It's got some kind of poeticness to it, I guess.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it makes me wonder, like, is this the end? Or is there some other way that the Doctor, or not the Doctor, but Missy or the Master or whatever can kind of come back?
Well, it's definitely going to, if they do come back, it's definitely going to be Missy, because Missy's still going to be running around.
Well, yeah, Master's got to change into Missy.
Yeah.
So we don't know the time frame of when they, you know, did all that.
But then Missy's going to be the last of the Master.
Yeah, but he won't have any memories. I mean, they had the whole comment about, like, you know, our timelines, the two of us together, the timeline's out of sync, and we don't have our memories. So, like, when they split from that, they won't really remember what happened. So he's gonna leave, turn into Missy, forget what happened.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they had the whole, like she had the whole thing about, like, a scary lady held me up against a wall and told me always to have, you know, a extra displacer or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
So did she remember stuff or did she not remember stuff? I don't know. Because if she does remember stuff, then I don't know. Maybe she would. I don't know. I don't know what she'd do.
Because I mean, the other doctors didn't really remember. Like, you know, Matt Smith, David Tennant. Like, they didn't really remember too much of their previous selves.
I mean, yeah, I think so.
Like,
to an
they
extent.
came back and they're like, I don't know.
I can't think of too many times when it's like, when they're like talking about their older selves or anything like that, and they don't know or they don't have any recollection.
Well, yeah, whenever Matt Smith and David Tennant met up.
Day of the Doctor?
Was it Day of the Doctor? Whenever they met up, they're like, oh, so what about this happening? Well, I guess then they remember stuff happening in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Like, David Tennant doesn't know anything about Matt Smith, but he shouldn't.
Yeah.
But Matt Smith remembers things about him. You know, like, Matt Smith was like, oh, you timey-wimey. Wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey. And then David goes, I have no idea where he gets this stuff, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like, Matt Smith gets that from him. It's from his past. But the other Doctor at the time doesn't know any of that because it's all his future. So, I mean, I guess there's a little... I need to rewatch that one at some point because, like, there is the idea of, like, well, how do you solve the problem that the War Doctor's in? But at the same time, if the War Doctor came, like, the time's kind of jumbled because they're all close. Did he do this before? Did they help him the original time? I don't know. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the line where the Master says, is the future going to be all girls?
Yeah.
And it's going to be.
With that, though, too, like, they had a remark where it was like, so my next generation's going to be you. And she's like, I don't know, it's kind of hazy. Like, is it possible that we get another Master
Before Missy?
in between Missy and the Master?
Huh. I guess I really didn't think about that.
I mean, towards the end there, it sounded like he was going to be turning into her. But towards the beginning of this episode, they had the comment, and it was like, so you're my next regeneration. And she was like, I don't know, it's kind of hazy. I don't quite remember.
Huh.
So, could we have some other new face that we've never seen before be the Master, and then it turns into Missy, and then it goes back, giving us a chance to still have the Master, but it's not Missy's story.
Yeah.
And it's not the Master's story. I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. I like that.
They also touched on the Master went to Gallifrey, which is what happened in the end of time.
Yeah.
Then they fixed his, like, weird energy feeding thing that he was having, and then kicked him out of there.
Yeah.
They casted him out. which is kind of weird because it's time locked, but at the same time they were able to cast out that other thing. In the time they casted out a thing, I forget what it was called, but they tossed it out too. So maybe they casted him out in a similar fashion. Somehow he also got a TARDIS and everything, so... I need to rewatch Peter Capaldi because he had also just recently went to Gallifrey, right? With Clara and all that kind of stuff was all Gallifrey and everything, so I don't remember exactly how that went through. It's been a while, like I said, since I watched it, and I've only seen it the one time.
Yeah.
So I kind of forget a little bit of that.
I should have said this last episode, but it's kind of cool. I like the relationship between this current Bill and Nardole.
Yeah.
Because they kind of understand each other because they're like inverses of each other. Like, you know, Nardole's a robot with biocomponents on the outside. Bill is biocomponents on the inside and robot on the outside. So they're like the same.
Yeah.
So he's like, now you're coming with me, Missy.
What do you think of what may be the end of those two companions?
Do you think it's the end of Nardole?
I don't know.
I kind of like his end, though. Like, you know, so-and-so has feelings for you. And then he's like, she's only human.
Yeah.
Everyone has feelings for me.
I mean, I love his, like, little quips and stuff that he has and everything.
Good ending for Bill, too. Leaving.
See, the thing with her, though, is I feel like it's very similar to Clara.
I know. I felt the same way because, like, there they go. Off into space.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to have, like, every companion that the Doctor has die.
Yeah.
Or something. And you gotta have a good reason why they're being sent off. But on one side of the coin, like, the Doctor just died. And you just leave him there in the TARDIS and you left.
What companions of the Doctor have died?
I guess to an extent the Pawns.
I mean, of old age.
Yeah, they were sent back where he couldn't do anything. They were done with that.
They still live their full life.
Rose
so.
got stuck in another dimension.
She got to live with the Doctor.
But she got her own Doctor. Martha is just out running around in normal world.
With Mickey.
Donna had her entire memory wiped and doesn't remember any of it.
Yeah, that one sucks.
That one was just kind of sad. Clara did die, but then got frozen in a time frame where she was only alive for like that second.
Yeah.
And just left alive there, so she couldn't die. And
Which, that's an interesting one, too.
And Arya couldn't die, so they're just traveling to people that can't die forever. I know there's some way back when. Like old stuff. I know there were some guys back then that died. But I can't think of any others, though. So that's what I'm saying, like, I mean, like, you don't want to be like, all right, well, we need a companion, what are we going to do? Well, let's kill this one. Like, you don't want to be like that. But it did feel very similar to Clara's, like, farewell.
Yeah. It did. But with how depressing this one was, I'm kind of glad that that it was kind of a happy ending for Belle to go off.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, the last one that I remember getting this emotional over was the one with Pink and Clara.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I lost it.
I mean, if you count Pink as a companion.
Oh, gosh. But, yeah, that's what, like, emotionally, that's the equivalent of this. But that happened, like, before the season finale, you know? Like, you had some time to recover. Yeah. Versus this is the season finale and it's just like depressing.
Yeah. See, I'd also kind of thought that going into a regeneration, they may do something similar to season 1, which is like, well, we'll introduce a companion this season, let you get attached to them, change doctors so you have that attachment with the companion currently, and then get the feel for the Doctor, and then you can switch a companion again.
Instead of starting on a clean slate.
Yeah, because I mean, they did that with Eccleston. You know, you start with a clean slate totally. Then when you switched to David Tennant, you still had Billy Piper, Rose. And then when you continued in, they got to Matt Smith, and then they did, all right, everything's new. Mm-hmm. But then they did the same thing with, okay, here's Clara with Matt Smith. Now Peter Capaldi with Clara. Now Peter Capaldi with Bill and Nardole. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, well, now that we have Bill, we'll have Bill with Jodie. I think is her name.
Yeah,
Jodie Whittaker.
Whittaker. I keep wanting to say Foster.
So, but I guess it's not going to be how it's going to be.
I don't know. But the cool thing is that, you know, like how Rose was able to come back with David Tennant's. Like, it's,
well, yeah, Clara and Bill both could show back up.
Like, there's a chance of seeing these guys again. So I think that's kind of a cool concept that you can interweave storylines with this new Doctor, even though we're going to have new everything.
They had even what?
I was going to say, even like with Missy carried over with throughout Peter Capaldi.
I feel like she might have been at the end of Matt Smith's.
I think you're right. I think that's when she first made her appearance and was like, "You know who I am, dearie." but
I don't think
now we don't have that. Like we don't even have the same arch nemesis. So like everything is starting over.
Yeah, I don't think that she met Matt Smith, but I think she was collecting dead people. Unless she was collecting dead people in the first season of Capaldi. I don't know. It's been a while.
I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember who. Because I remember at one point someone died. And I was like, oh man, who's that? All right. And I kept watching. But I feel like it happened whenever I was doing Netflix and I was watching Matt Smith and you're like, oh, that's all on Hulu. I was like, oh, all right. Well, I guess I won't watch. And I went to go watch the next day on Hulu and it was gone too.
In my defense, I was like, Aaron, you can give it a break.
Well, I was
it's
trying
on
to watch
something
it all.
else.
I wanted to watch it all, but
He was watching like 10 episodes a day.
I went from the specials, the last specials of David Tennant, through all of Matt Smith, and was starting Peter Capaldi, which at the time was the most recent on Netflix, in a week, because they were taking it off the air or taking it off Netflix, and I wanted to watch this. I wanted to watch it. One little thing they had was the the Jelly Baby.
Yeah, Jelly Baby. What's that?
Tom Baker carried around Jelly Babies and would offer them to people. So it was just a fun. I was like, where do you get a Jelly Baby? For one, on a farmhouse place, but he just had him and was offering him to the little kid. But it's just another nod to older Doctor Who stuff, just like the Cybermen that we had, which it was neat to see that. I mean, they had the newer Cybermen, the older Cybermen. They walked differently. You know, they attacked differently and stuff too. They had the beams on their head versus like the wrist cannon things. So that was kind of cool. And what the Master said too about they were gone. She was stuck down there for 10 years, and then he missed her by 2 hours. If he would have just not done something for like half a minute.
Like if he didn't take a breath.
Yeah.
Like one breath.
He might have caught her in time. So, I also wrote down, like, I guess that's going to be the last Capaldi speech is the Just Be Kind speech that he had with the Masters. Like, I was, when I was going, like, I was like, this is really good. And then I started hearing, like, man, this might be his, like, last, like, you remember the Zygon speech? That's when I think he really, like, won me over as, like, being like, man, this guy is good. Yeah. I like this guy. So, I don't know. I was just thinking, like, man, he's done such a good job with this, and this is probably going to be his last one. I don't know what's going to happen in the next episode, because the next one's a Christmas episode. But we have the first Doctor with him. Maybe it's going to be like, he was saying something like, don't want to go, right?
Peter Capaldi, yeah.
No, the other one. Didn't he say something in there too? Like, I don't want to. No. He was saying something. I don't know. It'd be interesting if, like,
the
first,
original Doctor.
Yeah. I like how he said that too, because Capaldi's been saying that through this season. But you may call me the original.
Yeah.
But that's the original Doctor. So, I don't know. What have you thought about this season?
I like this story arc here towards the end, but I feel like it didn't have quite as much momentum as like previous seasons.
I feel like last season I liked a lot, this one, I think I was saying before, I'm like, it's been alright. This last arc, like, really picked it up for me. I really liked what they did with it. It caught me off guard and was really cool.
Yeah,
and
like, let's just give Missy a try to see if she can be the Doctor for a while. Oh, Bill died, and now she's a Cyberman. It's like, what?
you should have expected. I mean, I was like, how long's it been since Cyberman? No, like 2 seasons. All right, let's have another one in there. You know, like, it's like, okay, let's have Daleks this season. Let's have Cyberman next season. Because we didn't have Daleks this season, did we?
No, I don't know.
I don't think so. I mean, I guess in the first episode, the Daleks were fighting those squid heads.
Oh, sure. But that was for, like, a split second.
Yeah. But no, I mean, the season itself I thought was pretty good. I mean, I didn't, like, hate any episodes. There's a lot of fun tie-ins to the original Doctors and older Doctors. You know, all the screwdrivers in the first episode, the River and the granddaughter sitting there on the desk. Just a lot of nods back to different things. They brought back the Master. They brought back, like, all kinds of different things. So it was really cool. It was like a nostalgia trip, which was good after him losing, like, his love. You know, because Husbands of River Song was really good. So, but you have anything else?
Nope.
No. All right, guys, that's the end of the season. We're all done with Doctor Who. We're all caught up, except for the next Christmas episode.
Yes.
So be sure to stick around because we will be watching the next Christmas episode next week. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm going to be sad to see Capaldi go. But hopefully we'll have a fun ride with whatever's coming next.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys next week. And if you guys want to see next week's episode already, you know what to do. Make sure you guys check out Patreon and our website. We have them available on both of those. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss all the Doctor Who coming out every week, as well as all the other stuff we put out weekly, like our podcast and our cooking, and our games.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry too. We should go eat.